We're live. Well, everybody, welcome. This is John for MTG Nexus coming at you with one final night of working on Izzet Phoenix. Obviously, the last league didn't go particularly well. Made some adjustments to the list. Of course, now that I made those adjustments, we won't run into those matchups. So, you know, modern magic sometimes. So far, the deck has gone 10-10 in leagues. Obviously not the greatest. Last league was particularly rough, running into Dredge, Tron, Amulet, and what was the Mill. So 4 really kind of rough matchups for the build we were running of Phoenix. Adjustments I've made to this particular list. I cut the Flame Slash from the main deck, moved the second Brazen Borrower to the main deck, freed up a sideboard slot, cut a Bone Crusher Giant in the sideboard, cut the 3 copies of Cleansing Wildfire, switched things up. We brought in 2 copies of Blood Moon, brought in the second copy of Anger of the Gods, and added 2 Ravenous Traps. So this gives us theoretically a little more play against... Thanks, Ando. 4 months in a row. Greatly appreciated. This brings us to 2 copies of Rav Trap, 2 copies of Anger. This gives us Cam against Dredge, which of course we won't play against again. But Rav Trap, you know, basically this is here for Oops All Spells and Dredge. Anger of the Gods, the second copy, you know, while it is pretty good against Dredge, it's also pretty good against a lot of the creature decks, so I'm perfectly fine with this card. Beyond that, not a whole lot of changes. The main decks pretty much remain the same constantly. I've been pretty happy with the main deck. It's just really what sideboard slots do you want to kind of maneuver around. How you doing tonight, Ando, by the way? And then beyond that, you know, a lot of our losses have been to matchups that I would consider even bad for the old copies of Izzet Phoenix. I don't think the deck is particularly well positioned. You know, we kind of continue to beat up on the mid-range and the fair decks and then get smoked by ramp and unfair decks. So not totally unexpected results, but you know, that's one of the things when you're playing a deck that's been weakened, you know, even like Amulet. How long did it take Amulet to, you know, improve as a deck? You know, I know Fran was continuing to work on it for a long time, but that deck's gotten quite a few cards over time. You know, Dryad, it's gotten Once Upon a Time before Once Upon a Time was banned. You know, it got quite a few cards that made it a much more interesting, you know, deck. This hand's pretty interesting. We have a turn 2 Phoenix on the play, so I'm definitely inclined to keep this hand. Obviously, a turn 2 3/2 with haste isn't great, but we do have a little bit of interaction for what our opponent's doing. And we could even potentially cantrip if we want to, or interact if they're some type of... Okay, looks like we might be up against some style of... Uro Pile, potentially. Just going to pass, not give my opponent any information. It's possible I'm actually supposed to go ahead and do Merchant of the Veil now, but I still, once again, don't want to give them the information. See if they counter this. They most likely will. But if it's Remand, we're glad to get that out of their hand. Looks like this is going to get mana leaked. It's unfortunate for our strategy, but is what it is. Alright, well, maybe I was supposed to try to bait with Manamorphose, but this feels like it's going to be a rough matchup, especially since we're unable to. Hey, thank you, Luis, for the follow. Hope all is well for you. Yeah, Omnath indeed. Alright, now we have an interesting quandary here. I think I'm just supposed to jam. Hope they don't have Spell Snare, and then Opt, I guess. Thought Scour is interesting. I'm supposed to keep Thought Scour to potentially guarantee a flip of Thing in the Ice next turn. Obviously, Omnath would be brutal here, but we know their draw was Mana Leak, so just jamming Phoenix doesn't make much sense. They could also have Cryptic Command, which would be mildly annoying. That's an interesting one. Interesting. Again, a Mana Leak this one? Wow, no Path to Exile. I'm kind of shocked there. Sure, we'll shock that in so we can haggle on the off chance they do something stupid. Yeah, running 6, whatever. Do I cast Haggle just to screw with them here? I'm perfectly fine if they Mana Leak this. Because that ties up 2 of their mana next turn. Bolt you. Hopefully their plan's just Cryptic here. If their plan is Cryptic, they're kind of... Really feels like they're sitting on Cryptic. So no one of the cards in their hand is Mana Leak. So that means you're dead, friend. Yeah, they're trying to prevent us from hitting a third spell, and it plus... no, it was necessary because it was lethal. Because they know the Phoenix is in the yard. If I bring Phoenix back, and Dart plus Flashback is lethal. So it was kind of necessary. No, their plays were correct. So they were trying to prevent themselves from dying. And then next turn they would have likely been able to untap with Uro and go to town. So probably want Blood Moons in this style of matchup. Their mana seems very stretched thin. Probably want Bone Crusher. Want Mystical Dispute and Ether Gust most likely. Lava Dart's kind of bad. Bolts are kind of bad. Does leave us with a very chunky middle here, though. So, so bolts, like, definitely add to our reach. Don't get me wrong there. And Thing in the Ice might also be a consideration for cuts, as it's not a particularly resilient threat. I think I might cut like one thing, one merchant, and maybe bring back in like 2 bolts and cut a... Do I dare cut a bird? Sounds okay. It's not like terribly exciting. Let's lead on that. I think their biggest threat here could be run in 6. On 2 would be annoying. Maybe that's the reason to leave in more bolts. Interesting. See one of the triumphs in your hand? Yeah, this feels like nothing. Flat out nothing. Interesting. Am I supposed to get a basic here? I'm going to get a basic island just to... It's really telegraphs Blood Moon to them, but... Probably going to have to get Steam Vents with this Flooded Strand, so maybe I was just supposed to play Mountain anyway. Awkward. Merchant's an interesting draw. With Brazen Borrow in hand, I don't think I'm supposed to tap out here. Like, obviously jamming Spyro feels pretty good if we can, like, land it in the right spot, but... it just continues to pass. One of the reasons I like Brazen Borrower for matchups like this, where you can just tap and then turn around and untap. Still don't think I'm supposed to tap low here. Basic Plains is interesting. Sure. I am very happy that you are path to exiling my threat here. Mainly looking for, well, hello there. Let's see if they fight over this. Like, we're rapidly approaching the point where Izzet Charm's not going to be particularly good. So, I really want to run out this thing in the... maybe I'm supposed to run out Thing in the Ice and just pass here. Like, if this gets countered, I'm perfectly fine with that outcome. They can't even Cryptic Command here, which is, like, really rough for them. Yeah, I'm just going to pass the turn. Not going to crack. I guess... nah, I'm just going to pass here. Their mana is all kinds of awkward this game. I guess they're really trying to play around Blood Moon. That's an annoying card. No answers here. Sure. Nice. Just gonna get Phoenix back here, chunk him for some damage. They have the second Mystic Sanctuary. I guess they can't Mystic Sanctuary anything at the moment. Sure. Life gain is relevant, but yet at the same time not. Sure. Alright, we didn't have a Phoenix on top. We had a Bolt on top. What are they trying for here, out of curiosity? Okay, sure. I don't think we're going to successfully fight over Umnath or Path, so I'm just going to run out Spyro here. Mystical Dispute. Nope, not fighting over that one. I think we are definitely in some trouble here, though. I'm going to try to guess this. I don't think it's going to quite work, but... Oh, it just worked. Alright. They don't have another white source here. They could be in a lot of trouble. So they fetched away Umnath, which is interesting. They're going to A here to Path Thingamabobber, which is fine. Well, that's a fine magic card. So we lock them out of blue and green mana? Do I even care about Ren? I don't think so. Sure. Pick up another mountain. Okay. We're out of bolts, right? Okay. They have purge here? Yeah, that's unfortunate. Sure. Put it with 2 cards in hand. Cast Bone Crusher Giant and pass turn, I think. Not that Izzet Charm's particularly relevant here. I don't think they play more than 2 Mystic Sanctuaries, do they? Guess we'll find out in a second. They do not. Alright. Yeah, that's a very unfortunate draw. Uro doing Uro things. So I'm going after Ren to keep the ultimate from being a thing. And now we kind of get a little bit lucky here. Bottom, top. Sure. Doubt they can fetch here. I'm supposed to actively make this trade. Because I suspect they have a verdict or something here. Oh, they just... Okay, Teferi, whatever, sure. Sure. Alright. Well, I mean, we gave him as good a fight as we could get, I guess. So, that's what happens when your deck has like a billion different answers to a billion different things, is sometimes you find them. Nothing like a good old 50 or 55 minute match to start the league out, right? Do we make any changes? Have traps interesting in some regards, and yet at the same time not. Still possible that that sinkhole was not correct. Yeah, sounds pretty good. Well, this hand has the potential to be pretty good, I should say. There's no guarantees it'll win the game, but Thing in the Ice and the Blood Moon are pretty good. And if we can find a third land and they somehow don't have a 2-mana counterspell, or, you know, Celestial Purge. Alright, there's the third land. I think we put one Spyro on the bottom and just keep the land. Spyros are great, but what we really need is spells at this point. Not going to play around Snare here. They have Snare? That'd be kind of rough. Wow, they're playing Snare. That's kind of brutal. Oh, they're just going to Mystical Dispute. Sure. I think we got to jam... we jam Moon here, right? I think I'll jam Spyro here, see if they go, like, counter this into Uro, and then maybe we can get him on the back end. Okay, they're just going to grow Spiral, sure. It's mildly annoying, because that means this is resolving. I know, right? I'm disappointed that my... Well, hello there. Hello there. See if they continue to play around Blood Moon or not. And while I don't think time's going to end up being a factor, the fact that they are down 4+ minutes is nice. Moto things, right? Land? Opt is not terrible. Gives us some options. No pun intended. Really wanna land, I really wanna land, I really, 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 really wanna land. Well, do I go for broke here? I guess I do. We're already in the sink here anyway. Sure. Let's get Phoenix back. Get to Kratham for 6. Sure, they get to resolve something annoying, but it's kind of whatever here. How does their deck operate? Like, legit, I'm looking at their mana, and it's just like, their mana's gotta be so terrible. Okay, Hour of Promise. Sure, you get some Zombos. Force of Negation, probably the worst thing for us here. Don't think we play around that, though. Well, I mean, the awkward part here, right, is we want both those cards and we really can't crack the fetch. So, do the thing. So our opponent has to have an answer to Moon, right? Because Uro ain't going to be enough here. Okay, so they just don't care about it, sure. They just don't have an answer to... Okay. All right. On that note, I'm going to go grab something quick to eat because I was not expecting such a grind fest first thing out. So I'll be back in 1 minute. That was fun. So how's everyone doing tonight? Hope things are going well for you. It was definitely a weird match. What's really dumb, and the part I am still somewhat dumbfounded with this deck by, and my results may not be typical of other people's results. I don't honestly know. I mean, it's a hand of magic cards. Guess we keep. I'm kind of dumbfounded at. So we win a long grindy match, immediately get paired into Dredge or whatchamacallit here? Dredge or Tron. It's going to lead on Scalding turn. Gives us a better idea of what we're up against. Okay. So mulligans to 5, plays Misty Rainforest. Okay. Wonder if we're in for another Uro Pile matchup. Yep. Or it could be up against Jeskai, I suppose. Nope. Fetching that quickly, probably running 6. Yep, running 6, doing running thick things. So, the question becomes, what am I supposed to do about it, if anything? Alright, I guess we're in desperation, try to mill for Phoenix mode. Alright, there's a Seasoned Pyro. Another Thought Gallery. And we're milling all of our mill cards and not milling Phoenixes. Seems about right. I know Thought Scour is a necessary evil, but it really just doesn't feel good, man. Just doesn't feel good sometimes. I think we're just hard casting Phoenix here. If they answer it, fine. If they don't, then, you know, whatevs. Problem is, Ren's just going to give them all the card advantage they need this game. Plus, it's threatening ultimate pretty soon. Jace the Mind Sculptor. Okay. Pitch 2 lands, automatically draw 2 more lands. Well, Guess we pass here. Like, I could try to double bolt one of these walkers, but if they have Force of Negation, that just gets blown up. Omnath, yep. Super teams assemble, or super friends assemble. You have Uro for the complete, total, utter stupidity? Nope, you just have to ferry. Okay, seems good. Well, whoever said money can't buy championships clearly never played Magic the Gathering. Still haven't hit any Phoenixes. We have to take a shot at Ren here. Otherwise, we're just dead. Not that we're not already dead anyway, but you know the drill. Yeah, probably. I honestly, and I don't want to jinx it, and there's a very good chance we could lose this match, obviously down very badly here, game one. Like, this deck has so far dumbfounded me how well it's done against Blue-White X piles, when Blue-White X piles were historically a very bad matchup for the old Izzet Phoenix decks. And I really think that just comes down to Narset, honestly. I think Narset was the key ingredient that made these matchups completely, totally miserable, unplayable, etc. And I think since these blue-white decks have gone, or blue-white, blue-green, whatever color decks you're playing, have gone so far away from Narset that, like, I honestly think that was the card that made this matchup, like, almost unwinnable. And while these games feel completely terrible, and we're probably going to lose this game one quite badly, at least these matchups have felt, like we have a chance. They're long, grindy affairs, but we have a chance. That's one of the things that's really interested me in this version of Phoenix, is that it has the game plan against these long, grindy, mid-range and control decks that, I really do think it has a spot in the format. I just don't know, like, okay, Hour of Promise about to come down and do the GG thing. Sure. So what would it take for us to spike this game? Presume they're going to bounce thing in the ice here, right? They have to. With either the Jace or the Ren. Okay. Well, if they have Force of Negation, this could get ugly, but I do think we just do the thing. We opt. Good card. I think we have to bottom it. Looking for a spike here. Is there any reason to continue this game other than the bleed clock? Don't think so, but I think we're just going to pass here. Like, that required us to get a little bit lucky there. Yeah, sure. Like, it's 100% clear this game is over. I mean, I'm not sitting here and denying that, but if our opponent's just going to sit here and play with their food and burn clock, then, you know, more power to you. Because we do have some tech in the sideboard for this matchup, so, you know, it's kind of whatever. You know, we have the Blood Moons, we have the Gusts, we have the Mystical Disputes. I honestly think Ren is just... It was very relevant, this game. I suspect they kept a very land-light hand. You have the Bolt. Okay, so we're not going to be able to do anything, so I'm just going to play this. Pitch the thing in the ices. Oh, they're just going to counter it. I think I'm going to go ahead and concede here. I don't want to give them the extra information, honestly. And bleeding time just isn't worth the information of how many basics we're running. Blood Moon in, Bone Crusher in, Mystical Disputes in, Ether Gusts in. Still don't think this is a Rav Trap matchup. They honestly, it requires, what, 3 or more cards to go to the graveyard? Lava Dart out, a couple of the bolts out. Pitch a Merchant of the Veil or 2. Rid of a Thought Scour. It's like my least favorite cantrip in the deck. Cut like one thing in the ice. Thing in the ice is a little bit more functional simply because their removal is split over red and white, and it doesn't get hit by Purge, which is like one of the big things. I think we keep his hand. Hope to hit a second lane with Serum Visions. Obviously, this hand could go really badly if we miss on Serum Visions here. Or if for some reason our opponent has the Soul Read and tries to Force of Negation that. Alright, well, so we're probably dead. Mill a land. Miss on land, cool. That's one way to lose to blue-white X control, I guess, is just miss your land drops and then nothing else you do matters. Yeah, running 6, sure. I mean, I guess we haggle here. Now the deck's just taunting me. Oh, well. Alright, so you're saying there isn't much of a chance, but you're saying there's a chance. Not going to bother with... Okay. Am I going red here? Alright. Bolt your face. Go ahead and do that. Exiling. Celestial Purge. Sure. Let's see what they got. Hopefully they don't have Omnath. And this is our one shot, our one opportunity, and we're going to try it. Growth Spiral. Now you have a fetch land, so they got to use that to get white, right? Yep. Yep. When your opponent has all the purges, sure. Omnath. Oh no, just Field of Dead. Okay. Or Hour of Promise, I mean. Derpa derpa. Yeah, it's kind of hard to beat double Celestial Purge with our deck, unfortunately. Interesting that they're fetching here. That feels like a mistake. Less AF path? Oh no, this definitely feels like a mistake. So we're definitely going to have to Thought Scour end of turn here. Mana is definitely a choke point, which is one of the problems in the post-board configs is mana can definitely be a choke point. Alright, Hail's not terrible. Would we haggle away the land here and hope to get a little bit lucky? What is the best line here? I don't even know what we could hit that would matter. Another thing in the ice. I think we're still very much dead here, but, you know, maybe our opponent doesn't have answers to two things in the ice, and then maybe we can flip them, and... Yep. Okay. They are digging, digging, digging. Okay. Draw path? We did. It's unfortunate. Do you have the bolt? You do not. Unfortunately, I don't think there's any way that we can get out of this. So unfortunately, we're just dead on board, so concession. At least that one didn't last almost 45 minutes. So stumbling there at the beginning, I think, just kind of cost us that game. I think we would have had a much better chance if we wouldn't have stumbled at the beginning. So the Money Tribal definitely is a rough matchup, but at least we've proven we can beat it at least once, so. So let's play first. You think we keep this hand? Really? Alright, at least hit the second land drop here. Three freaking Omnath piles in a row. Admittedly pretty annoying. Might think, I was going to say, opponent counters this, I'm perfectly happy with that. Looks like they're going to. Okay, sure. Apparently we're not up against Uro Pile. Maybe. Not really sure what's going on over there yet. Nope. Looks like we're up against regular Valakut BS. So they might have Uros in their deck. Hopefully this resolves. Feels like we're getting remanded. Yep. Oh, what a night. Played against 3 blue decks in a row. Oh, what a night. Alright, so we're just going to run this out. If they remand it, we can recast it. We didn't, so... So we currently have 13 damage next turn, potentially. I feel like I'm supposed to Manamorphose here. Goodbye, friend. I guess the concern with Ren would be a Ren ping, and such could lead to Thing in the Ice dying, but like we have the potential to flip Thing in response. Sure. That much open mana is just so bad for us. Sure. They draw 2, discard 2. Interesting. Not precisely the mode I was expecting. Pitching a Ren in 6 and a Bolt Your Face, Bolt Your Face. Alright, there's a Manamorphose. That's a nice card to draw. Alright, so we get to flip the Thing. Could you possibly have here? How about I say no? That tells me you don't have a Force of Negation, so I'm just going to go for broke. Looks like you're gonna look for a Force of Negation, though. Alright, that's the game lockup. Cool. Ookily dokily. Don't think I've ever been happier to play against a Valakut deck in my life. I do think we bring in a lot of the same cards, though. I do think the value of Thing in the Ice goes up considerably against a deck that's mostly bolts. Alright, so Scapeshift. Anyways, we're waiting on that. Lava Dart, for the most part, isn't particularly useful. Sinkhole might be okay. Alright, so Temur Scapeshift has been doing reasonably well. We're up against Onosaurus. They have no particular... There's a Madcap, potentially a Madcap plan I need to be kind of aware of. Common a thing is that it's somewhat common, but not in all of the versions. So I'm not sure whether I should play around it or not. I guess between Brazen Borrowers and Things, we have enough answers to it. Shave a couple of bolts, shave a Spyro, shave a Merchant of the Veil, a Thought Scour maybe. A little bit different sideboarding than we would against Uro Pile. They might have Uros in their deck, which is kind of whatever. Sounds very awkward, but I guess we keep it. Like, our two bolts that we left in are still in my hand. Magmatic Sinkholes, kind of whatever. Important number in this matchup's 18. If our life total drops below 18, then we're kind of at the mercy of our opponent having a reasonable draw. Izzet Charm. If they don't have run in 6 this turn, we could be in good shape. Okay, they have... Nope, they have no run. Okay, sure. I think we're supposed to counter this. Serum Visions is mildly important here. I like Manamorphose, but I don't think in this hand it particularly matters. I'm going to put Spyro on top. Play land and pass. We're going to bolt Spyro, see what they do. Not Spyro, run in 6. Alright, so we're going to have to go below the number I like. Do I do this here? Feels real bad playing into Remand like this, but what am I pitching is the question mark. Merchant and Merchant? Immediately draw Izzet Phoenix. Okay. I mean, they could Sanctuary back Growth Spiral if they wanted to here. Looks like they're going to. Interesting. Sure. Just attack everything at Ren. Play Thing in the Ice. They want to fight over this. I'm not going to fight over it. Or am I if it's Cryptic Command? Yeah, I think we fight over it because it's Cryptic Command. So I don't think we're going to counter anything relevant next turn. I guess they could they Scapeshift us here? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I guess we're dead to Scapeshift here, so maybe that was a mistake. But I guess we're not countering it anyway, so. So if I'd attack them directly, they'd be at 12. And then there would be some amount of top decks that would kill them here. I don't understand. So they probably don't have Scapeshift in hand if they didn't just cast it to kill us. Unless they're like worried about Force of Negation, but it just seems like the spot you're supposed to jam Scapeshift. Just attack with Spyros and tokens and go from there. So now there is some combination of draws that will allow us to kill them next turn. Sure. You have a third. Okay, doesn't look like you have a third Sanctuary. What the heck is this? Yeah, that really doesn't matter. Like, I'm honestly surprised they didn't do that. Main phase? Question mark? Or during combat? I think we'll go ahead and cast Haggle here. If it gets countered, it gets countered. It's whatever. Problem is, Ether Gust doesn't protect us from like Cryptic Command here, so. Am I supposed to go for lethal here? One, 2, 3, 4. I mean, Gust really isn't protecting us for much here, so I guess we go for broke. Cryptic Command. Sure. I did miss an opportunity there to recast Thing in the Ice. Yeah, Bolt's kind of whatever there. Weather the Storm, cute. Yes. Burning 6, sure. Guess we just kill run here. Okay, Gas Merchant of the Veil. Go team bad beatdowns. Oh, jeez. Okay, can we hit a Phoenix? No, but we do hit a Blood Moon. That's going to the bottom. Alright, Birdie. Do you cast Cryptic Command here? Sure. This does hurt us a lot, but I don't think they're going to let it resolve, so... Okay, sure. So I think it might hurt us more than it hurts them at the moment. thought we got a Spyro hanging out down here somewhere. Nope. We only cast one Spyro so far? Interesting. When you wish you'd kept one of your islands in a Blood Moon matchup, right? Aren't you glad they drew all their bolts? Alright. Yep, all my islands. And I missed an attack step there. Cool, cool. Opponent certainly was thinking. Well, if they ever go to bounce and then do the thing, I think we're in good shape. Snapcaster would be unfortunate here. Sure. What do you go for? Bold here? I mean, this isn't going to go well for you, I don't think. Oh, they're going face. Sure, that makes sense, I guess. Sure. I think they've grossly misassessed what this matchup's about. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Alright, we lose. So our opponent appears to be on the acting as if we're an aggressive deck plan. Only other card I might want potentially is Bone Crusher Giants. So I'd like to play first. Sam has a Blood Moon. Sign me up. Maybe he doesn't do enough otherwise, so maybe I'm supposed to... Well, I mean, that's a card we have to play here, but... Sure. Doesn't seem like the best odds of hitting a land here, but... Blue, red... That's awkward. Still think we have to go for it. Alright, so we get to at least get Phoenix back here. Establish a bit of a clock. They might have Weather the Storm, that's whatever. Nope, that's going on bottom. You need to tap a green mana for Uro, friend. There you go. Do a Force of Negation. Curious which... Oh, you have to fetch here regardless, so... Alright, do you have the Ether Gust? Nope. Alright. This was a mistap here. Sure. Ether Gust at the end of turn. They're going to Uro here. Are they hoping that Uro is going to be enough to stabilize them? Is that what the hope is here? All right. Sure. So we like get this free upheaval if they... Wow, nice. Alright, 2 and 1 so far. Be right back in 1 minute. Blood Moon carry, indeed. Alright, sorry about that. How's everyone doing this evening? So, regardless of the results tonight, I do think this is going to be the final Izzet Phoenix leak, at least for the rest of the week. You know, Stack continues to be a quandary. Definitely a quandary. EPT Hopper 0. Alright, well, I mean, this hand isn't the best, but it's not the worst either, so. Turn 1 Forest is terrifying. Alright, Amulet right off the bat, sure. If we last till turn 3, we might be okay. But I think lasting till turn 3 could be asking a lot in this matchup. Turn 2 Dryad. Nope, Explore. Okay. So a whole lot of tire spinning for a tireless tracker. Okay. Hand's very, very awkward. So we got some Blood Moons and some Ether Gusts. Don't really have too much else for this matchup. Okay. Okay, there's Dryad. So you have one more land drop to make here. What on earth are they doing here? Grazer. Okay. Crack a clue. So basically you're saying if they draw a Titan, we're dead. Gotcha. That's like super awkward. That's a great card. Holy crap. Alright, you have Titan. If you do, this game is kind of a foregone conclusion. Seems reasonable. Alright, they have Titan, so we can move on with our lives, sure. I guess we bring in the Abrains, even though they're not, like, fantastic. Down the Lava Dart. This isn't really a value matchup per se. I guess there is some consideration to Mystical Dispute, but I don't know how often we're going to get to 3 mana and be able to hold it up. So just do some trimming around the edges. That was one of those really awkward, like, hands for Phoenix. Like, that kind of hand needed, like, a 3rd mana source or a Manamorphose, like, really badly. This hand seems okay if we find a 2nd land. To go thing on 2. And hold up potential Ether Gusts for shenanigans. Izzet Charm could potentially be a cut in this matchup. Like, it doesn't really counter a lot of their relevant stuff and doesn't really kill a lot of their stuff. I don't think we want Spyro here. I think we just want our land drops. Yep, Amulet's an Amulet. Really didn't gain a whole lot by doing that. I guess there's no harm here in casting Opt. Alright, I'm down for another Opt and just passing the turn. Just passes. They have Dismember, they have Dismember. It's kind of whatever here. Can't really play around it. A lot of good hits here. Blood Moon's pretty good. Phoenix would be alright. Spyro, not so much. think I'm going to do this to get the clock rolling. Probably pitching Island. So we should have pitched Spyro, question mark. Problem is if we do that, if we counter this and they have Titan, we're kind of screwed. But I still think we gotta do it. If they have Titan, we're dead. I mean, which of course they do. That was a heck of a draw. So they're going to suicide their Titan to get a green source. Okay. Yep. So, I guess the one thing to go back and look at that game... Okay, so I did discard a land at some point. If I hadn't have pitched this land, then I could have potentially Ether Gusted the Rex Sage. Would that have been enough? Yeah, if I would have kept the land, then I would have been able to Ether Gust the Rex Sage, and we probably would have won that game. So... Sand is tricky, because Double Thing in the Ice is pretty good, but we really don't have a lot of spells to play with it. That said, I do think we keep his hand, but this is certainly a hand that could go south if we don't draw spells. Planes go. So Death and Taxes, potentially. Hopefully you have Path to Exile for this. Dumb as that sounds. You know you want a Path Thrower? Oh, wow. Okay. A little bit of a different deck. Sure. I'll go ahead and pass here. I think I'm interested in holding up Izzet Charm here, so... Bing, ba, bing, 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 ba, bing, ba, bing, bing, bing. a Path to Exile? Oh, you're playing Silence is Golden, Golden. Gonna bolt you and kill you. That is a lockup. Alrighty. Don't have terribly much for the terrible enchantment deck. And by terrible, I mean if they find the right cards, we're SOL anyway. So, MTG Goldfish. All right. So what cards are we particularly interested in? Blood Moon doesn't seem great, but it might be okay. Actually, who am I kidding? They're playing a bunch of planes. Bone Crusher Giant in. Mystical Disputes in. Mainly Rest in Peace as a card that I'm semi-playing around. Lava Dart out. Probably Lightning Bolt out. They might mulligan to Leyline. I don't think it's particularly good, but you know. Oof. This is a close hand. I do think we keep it though. Center Visions, looking for a land. Merchant of the Veil is tempting, but I do think we have to bottom it. Do you have Suppression Field? Nope, Wall of Omens. Okay, that's kind of whatever. Land? Arclight Phoenix. Okay. Greater Oromancy, Pitch of Phoenix, I guess. Solemnity, sure. Alright, at least we got that, right? And we still have outs to the lock, even if they get, whatchamacallit here. Silence. Sure, whatever. I actually wanted to draw a land anyway, so pass the turn. Is this thing on the ice just an 0-4? No, Solemnity is just really bad for them. Oh, wow. All right, do you have Supreme Verdict? Red Halo? Sure. I mean, that's a thing, I guess. They have surgical extraction, perhaps? That felt like a surgical extraction. I guess I have to target myself now. Alright. Yeah, it's definitely a surgical extraction. Pause. Two Lotus Blooms, huh? Start with an Metamorphosis. Surgical extraction will be really bad for us here. Yeah, surgical? Nope. They were just hesitant to cast Lotus Bloom for whatever reason. Do we get the 3-2? We got the 3-2. So what do I even have to say to that? Played against 3 blue XX piles. Beat 2 of them, one of which was Money Tribal. We lost to Money Tribal once. We beat Valakut. Lost to Amulet in a close 2-game set. Whereas if I had kept a land with one of the Spyros, we would have been able to Ether Gust, I think. Which the moon would have stuck long enough to maybe get us the win. Mono White Enchantments, I don't have a lot to say about. You know, that's a matchup where, you know, we have some outs, we have some Brazen Borrowers, we have some Izzet Charms. Solemnity plays quite well for us with Thing in the Ice. I think the long and the short of it, and keeping in mind this deck has been all over the place. So far we've gone 4-1, 2-3, 3-2, 1-4, 3-2. So the overall record's 13-12, which isn't good. I'm not going to sit here and say that that's particularly good. But I still think this deck, any deck that can go pound for pound with Money Tribal and Blue-White X decks and have a reasonable chance to win, I think is a deck worth exploring in a meta. A lot of our losses were just to... some of them were play mistakes. Like the second game loss to Amulet there was a play decision loss. But if you look at a lot of our losses, we have 2 losses to Amulet, 1 loss to Dredge before I had this current build, 2 losses to Oops, a loss to Neobrand. A lot of them are on the periphery of the meta of the decks that we lose to. As far as, the extreme ends, the uninteractive graveyard decks, the combo decks, and the go over the top of the fair decks, Amulet Titan and Tron. And I think that makes a lot of sense with the deck as it's currently constructed. I do think... there's probably a build that exists that can beat, the unfair decks, the amulet. I don't know about the amulets of the world, but like the Oops All Spells decks, the Dredge decks. And this version with the second copy of Anger Gods and the 2 Rav Traps might be that deck. I don't know. We've beat Izzet Prowess a couple times. We played against Shadow once and beat it. It was a close matchup. I know Blitz said he played against Jund and beat it. Death and Taxes has been a close matchup. We have a pretty good record against the Blue-White X piles. Now, I'm not sure that would last out over time, as a lot of them have been 3-game sets. But I don't know. This deck isn't tier 1, and I'm not going to sit here and claim it is. The more I play this version of the deck, the more it just reminds me of Jund. Blue-red Jund. We're not playing the absurd power level of cards that Jund has, but it's just, this is one of those decks that feels like you can pit a certain portion of the meta and beat it. You have reasonable game against anything fair and anything not named Burn, or... Well, even Burn could potentially be an okay matchup with this config. We're probably a slight dog there. We're probably reasonable against the various prowess builds. This just feels like a middle-of-the-road mid-range deck. Well... And I'm not necessarily complaining about that, Ando. Green-red Ponza. So if you look at the 3 decks that you could probably, or the 2 decks you probably lump this in with, you've got green-red Ponza mid-range, Jund, and this. I think all 3 decks do slightly different things, but they're all kind of the same, they lose to the unfair decks to a certain degree. but you can build your deck to beat anything. And that's one of the issues with a deck in Modern, is you can build it to beat anything, but you're still going to lose to something. And is it bad to be Jund light? Because a lot of the things that people attack Jund with, we don't care about. You know? I mean, a lot of the same cards apply to us, like Celestial Purge and Rest in Peace and whatnot. But we're doing a different game plan than Jund. Jund's trying to grind resources into the ground. We're just trying to outgrind and still have more resources left over. So, I don't know. But I'm definitely going to take a step back from this deck for a couple of days. Probably the rest of the week, and stream something else tomorrow night. What that is, I don't know. Probably Burn, if we're being completely honest. This deck is just... It's been a real work in progress, and I was really disappointed after last night's 1 and 4. But tonight, you know, a little bit better matchups, maybe a little bit better build. I don't know. See if there's anybody to raid. I don't think Ghost is still going, is he? Stryfo's on, but he's just doing Legacy, because that's what he always does. Guess we'll raid Stryfo, because why not? Alright, just want to thank everybody for hanging out tonight. If you're new to the channel, please consider giving us a follow. If you really like this Izzet Phoenix content and Burn content, please consider checking out our YouTube channel. And if you happen to like this channel and really want to support it, I'd be really welcome your Twitch Prime here, as Ando donated earlier. But thanks for hanging out, Foz and Ando. And I'm going to send you guys over to Stryfo. He's a Legacy player, so a little bit different format. So if you're not into that, I apologize, but, you know, gotta pass on the love, so...